Oh my god, what's my model doing? He's like, ugh. Alright, let's get this stuff going. I am live a few moments earlier than usual. Than I should have. Well, like 6 minutes, but I'm kind of bored, so we're live now. Alright, I can close these. I can start that in a second. Dude, I don't remember a song in Frontiers being this serene. This is like something that would have been playing in like... This is like Outer Wilds music. Damn, do I still have that one monkey gif? Yeah. Literally that. Alright. My mic muted? Yes, okay. What's stomping? No, wait, wrong one. Welcome to the Dino Cinema. Help yourselves to the concessions, find a seat, relax, and enjoy the writing stream. I'm gonna play Bonanza later, but we'll try something a little different today. I had a blast in last night's stream, but I also had a mental breakdown afterwards, for a multitude of reasons. I think I need to not do so many collabs in 1 week, maybe. Because I think it makes it to where I neglect certain things that I like to do on stream. Like just hanging out and like just... speaking my mind completely unfiltered. That isn't just like stems. And when you do like a group collab, it's usually just like stems and memes, which, hey, you know, love that shit. You know, definitely want to do more of those in the future. However, I think I've realized that maybe I shouldn't do so many of those in 1 week. So like next week, and I'll be honest, I'm planning with the group to do like a Jackbox or Among Us stream next Friday. I'm not gonna lie, maybe I'll feel better before then, but I'm kind of burnt out on group collabs at the moment. I might back out of that, but we'll see. I do think I need to slow down on collabs in general, because I think it's making me miss, just like... It's making me miss the vibes of solo streams, the sort of things that I can talk about and present in solo streams, and I think it's making me too reliant on having company in order to feel like I'm streaming right, if that makes sense. That's not a good way to put that, but I hope it makes sense anyway. Yeah. Like I said, I genuinely had like I woke up at like 3 AM and just like had a mental breakdown. When I say mental breakdown, like I've trained myself to like when I'm going through rough spots. What's up, T1? When I'm going through rough things, I don't like let the feelings consume me and then I don't know what to do with myself. It's more like I let myself feel the emotions and try to like process them, try to figure out what the source of it is. I find that's much healthier and much healthier and more productive than trying to ignore it and just watching like YouTube videos, you know. So I spent I woke up at like 3 AM. I think I stopped at like 6 or 7 AM. I'm not saying that for the meme, like genuinely. I stopped at like 6 or 7 AM because I was just like sitting in complete like silence and darkness the whole time. No music, no lights in my room or nothing. Just fucking you know, just trying to process shit. That was definitely needed. And one of the conclusions I came to was, okay, so the reason I'm doing this particular setup, where I'm going to be writing, I'm not going to show you what I'm writing. I feel like, in order to focus better, I feel like I don't want, like, eyes on my actual writing. So I feel like it'd be easier to focus. So I was watching Eye Candy this morning, and she was doing pretty much the same thing, where she was writing, and she just had, like, words on stream on for her chat. And, after my crash out, I was like, I need to do something different. I think I've had enough Crossworlds for now, because I've become far too emotionally attached to the idea of Crossworlds growth, Twitch growth. Why am I not growing as much as other people in this space, you know? So I need to take a step away from that, at least for today. Do something different, do something fresh and exciting. I'm gonna do some writing. I listen to Frontiers Island movement music. Turn it down a little bit. While I do so. And let me loop this playlist so I don't have to worry about it. And yeah, gonna turn on Words, honestly. Although Words is gonna be going, feel free to talk like normal, of course. But if you want to play the game, here I can already see a big one right here. Comfort. I think I'm gonna play this for a little bit. Words before I get into my writing. Ease into the stream. I actually haven't done any writing yet today, but I've been trying to like rest my. I've been trying to rest as much as possible. Because I was like physically and emotionally burnt out after last night. So again, the stream, the company, chat, and everything was great. It's just that I've maybe been putting too much pressure on myself when it comes to growing in the Crossworld space. I'm not sure if that space is for me. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like my time there hasn't been necessarily, what's the word? I feel like maybe my vibe just doesn't fit that community? I don't know. I feel like I try to, I'm not saying I'm gonna quit it entirely, by the way, but in terms of, like, committing to it, I don't know if I can do that. Because I think what I need to do is, like, I need to put, I guess what I need to start doing, basically, is if trying to grow in that space isn't giving me what I'm putting into it, maybe I need to meet it at that level. So instead of streaming Crossworlds almost every stream, maybe do it like... Maybe I should start doing it like once a week or something, if that. Maybe just take a break from it entirely. Take a break. Well, you know, we got the tournament coming up, so I'm at least gonna, you know, play it for that. But other than that, here, I can just type restart. Yeah, I probably need to take a little bit of a step away from Crossworlds. At least to the degree that I've been playing it. Because I'm just... I don't know if it's the algorithm or if it's just like... You know... People just don't get me over there. I don't mean that in like a bad way, just like, you know... Sometimes you try to fit in a space that... You know? That people just don't vibe with you, and but that's not like necessarily a bad thing, it's just, you know... Ooh, wait, I see one. But you know, that's just how it is sometimes. Not everyone is compatible. I'm more saying like with the viewers, by the way. The streamers have been awesome. Streamers have been awesome, but I don't know, it just feels like when I try to stream in the Crossworld space, nobody, like, cares, so... But again, maybe that's just the algorithm, I don't know. There's no good answer for it, to be honest, so I think I just need a break from that space. I need to freshen up the streams a little bit. If that means, you know... It's funny, because I say, oh, words will never have you guessing less than 4-letter words. It's always 4-letter words or higher. It's funny because I say like, I'm gonna try to start doing some new stuff, and if that means less viewers, so be it. But it's like I'm not getting a lot when I play Crossroads anyway, so it's like, well, shit. I don't want to say might as well do what I want, because Crossroads is what I want to do. I do enjoy playing it a lot, but I do think for the sake of my mental health, maybe I should diversify myself a little more. And maybe reframe my mind to consider streaming, the reward from streaming just to come from the act of it and the pure joy of streaming, as opposed to trying to see consistent growth, like constant big growth all the time from it. Because I don't know, it just feels like in the Crossroads space, I'm just not seeing a lot of the same growth a lot of the other streamers in there are. And I don't understand it, but it's nothing worth dwelling on, I think, because I've been dwelling on it, and I think I need to put my mental energy into other stuff right now. Take a break from it, maybe come back with fresh eyes. Burnout can happen, especially when you do the same thing every day with little in return. It's because it's like, obviously, like, you want to do things and not expect anything in return. But at the same time, I feel like you're not a human being if you put a lot of effort into things and not feel a little disappointed when you get nothing out of it. I think what it is, right? Because like when I go out of my way to do something for someone, and the only one that benefits from it is them, I'm cool with that. I'm cool with that. I don't need a reward for helping somebody. But when I'm like live for 6 hours on a weekend, playing a game during a hype event, and ooh, Nebula, good one there. And there's like barely anybody watching. Or even if I'm like in a collab and there's barely any. Hey, the other streamers, because it's like yesterday. I'll be honest, it felt like I guess my friends, I guess they enjoyed my company or whatever, but at the same time, I kind of felt like I wasn't really, I don't know, like, this is a really stupid thing to say now, I'm saying it out loud, but I genuinely did feel like after the stream, during the stream I was having a blast, but after the stream, seeing that I averaged like 2 viewers and rated with 3, it just felt like, okay, was I even really needed here, I know that's not true, because we had a lot of fun, but at the same time, I feel like that stream probably wouldn't have been that different if I wasn't there. I feel like they still would have had a blast, and it really wouldn't have contributed much to the growth of the other streamers, because I didn't really have much going on my end. So, stupid thoughts, I know. Very irrational. Very self-destructive, but hey, I'm just saying how I felt. And I'm just trying to process it and move on. What do I feel like? Like pinto bean, right? Yeah. There's gotta be a better way for me to do this. Yeah, I'll just do it like this for now. Is on... I doubt this is one word. Yeah. Poot. Into. Oh, onto. I can't... What would these... I'm really struggling on what these 6-letter words would be. Tune. Option. Very good guess. Oh, we actually made it to the next level, too. Nice. Yeah, I had a lot of fun playing words in Kanji Streamer this morning. It inspired me. It inspired me to try this for myself. Goal of this stream is to get some writing down and enjoy the stream regardless of what comes out of it in terms of growth. Because at the end of the day, regardless of... So it's like, what? Should I only be happy with streaming if I get growth from it? Not a great mindset, so I want to get out of that. Because I used to be really good about just... Because I've discovered, like, the other day when my stream was, like, my chat was totally dead for an entire hour when I was playing Bonanza the other day. And that really got to me. It was, I felt like I was having a hard time, being, like, just enjoying being, like, playing the game and being in the stream with the dead chat, which is something that didn't used to bother me. I used to, like, I went years streaming to basically nobody, and just had a good time regardless. So I want to, re-obtain that ability. I think that's going to be very good for the long run. Because it's like... I was thinking earlier... Yeah, no, and that's the thing, too, is I hate when I complain about this stuff and then people, like... say sorry. It's like... you didn't do anything wrong. It makes me... like, I feel bad when I'm not saying you make me feel bad. I guess I'm making myself feel bad. When it's like... when I complain about stuff like this and then people start, like, showing me support and stuff and kind words, and I'm like... Because then it feels like I'm just, like, causing a pity party. Like I'm, like I'm trying to get attention. And I won't lie, my subconscious, like, desperately craves attention. I've tried to, grow out of that, but it's just something... Future's not a word? Wow. It's just something that's part of me. I've done a lot of meditation and thought on this, and for some reason, just by nature, I crave attention. I like making creative things and having people see them. Oh, it was a few, not future. Okay. And that's just something that I've had to come, just a fact about myself that I've just had to come to accept. I don't know if that's ever going to be something that's not part of myself. So I just have to learn to deal with it and learn how to manage that feeling, I guess, without completely discarding it, which I guess is impossible. Foot. Root. Yeah, I just want to make sure I get all this stuff off my chest before I get into writing, because if I don't, I'm not going to be able to focus on the writing. Wait, I thought we did true already. Huh. Well, there you go. So yeah, I do want to make it clear. I've loved these past few streams I've done, these collab streams. I have not a single problem with the folks I've been hanging out with. However, I think I've just been stretching myself too thin, doing too many collabs in a row. And while I may have been having fun in the moment with them, afterwards, especially last night, I had a mental breakdown. Because I guess my subconscious is like craving to be able to express myself in certain ways that I can't do in group collabs. So, like I said, I need to slow down on collabs for now. So I can do that. So we'll see how today goes when it's just me talking about writing, basically. And then when I feel like I'm done with that, I'll switch to Bonanza. I need to, I think I need to detox my brain. Ooh, I see a big one. I need to detox my brain from associating streaming with growing. And it's like, yes, I need to grow in order to be able to get to the point where I can support my family instead of them having to support me all the time, which drives me crazy. I wish I could be supporting them and not the other way around. I want to get to the point where, like, my parents... Huge dream, I know, but I dream big. I want to get to the point where my parents can retire because of the stuff that I do. I don't want them to have to work anymore. They've lived long, hard lives. I want them to be able to get their dream home and chill out. That's all I want, man. That's why I don't solely stream just because. Just for the what if like chival is a word? Nope. Cleave. Jesus. There's like some food in my fucking teeth and it clogged my throat. What was I gonna say? But yeah, that's why I don't just stream purely for the vibes. However, I think the strat is to reframe my mind to stream just for the fun of it, like I used to, and not worry about growth, because I think the less I worry about growth, the more it'll come organically. Whether that's true or not, I don't know, but I think either way, I'll at least be happier along the way. Instead of worrying about shit that's out of my control, because I already do everything I can to grow. And for some reason I get rewarded less than other people that put in less work than I do. So instead of worrying about that, I just need to do this I need to rediscover how to do this purely for the fun of it, and whatever comes out of it comes out of it. Because that's the thing about life, is you do your best and the universe decides whether it wants to throw you a bone or not. That's really what it comes down to. You're probably gonna get fucked over most of the time, especially if you're me, so just gotta keep rolling with it, I guess. Oh, gather. Okay, I'm gonna leave words to chat. I am gonna try to get in some writing. So, Madalena. I'll type it in chat. It's spelled like this. Madalena. This is a... Wait, where's my chat? Like on the screen. Nani? Oh, do I need to open... I bet I need to open Caster Labs. I don't even remember closing that. Oh, it's because I shut off my PC last night because of my mental breakdown. That's what it was. I was like, wait a minute, chat's not on the overlay. By the Lady of the Lake. Started by unlocking your dashboard. Oh, I don't need all that. Ah, there it is. Okay, now we can see chat. Alright, so... words is on autopilot. Ooh, someone type frigate. Sorry, I'm getting distracted. Never mind, there's not an E, don't type frigate. Words is on autopilot, so like, I think after 30 seconds... It'll restart after 30 seconds at the end of every round unless I manually restart, but I'm gonna try not to do that so I can focus on the writing. So anyway, Madalena is a work-in-progress novel that I'm currently writing. Fart is a valid word. It is generally, I'm generally intending it to be like middle grade, somewhere between like middle grade and young adult. The kind of story that doesn't stray away from hard topics and maybe some violence and maybe a little bit of swearing. Oh, do graffiti. Graffiti's the big word. But not so extreme that, like, children can't read it. Pretty much all of my stories that I write have some element of horror in them. And this one's no exception. There's gonna be some stuff in this that, there's gonna be some horror elements in Madalena. But it's generally gonna be, kind of like an adventure story. It's kind of like, here, let me move words up so that way YouTube chat can... If anyone wants to play along in YouTube chat, they can scan the QR code. It's kind of philosophical, much like a lot of my other stories. And it is essentially my take on a Pinocchio type story. It's a very loose adaptation. Basically, the similarities between Pinocchio and Madalena as stories is... The similarities basically start and end at a woodcarver, carpenter character creates a puppet, or in Madalena's case... Why'd you say... There's only one O! Why'd you say goon? Creates, so like Madalena is a life-size doll, not like a marionette or a puppet. I guess she's kind of like a marionette, but, that the main character, Greta, makes. And, yeah, Madalena is essentially like the gender-bent Pinocchio. I don't do the whole nose-growing thing, though. I'm honestly, Madalena is one of the characters I'm having the hardest time trying to iron out her personality. It's definitely coming along in this latest draft that I'm writing. I feel like the character is finally starting to become more solid. Sorry, I saw the word. I had to type it. I might get into that later. Another one of the concepts. Okay, so yeah, similarities between Madalena and Pinocchio end at wooden inanimate object comes to life. It belongs to a carpenter, woodcarver character. There's a blue fairy, and they go on an adventure, and there's giant, there's like giant sea beasts, in the finale. And there's a circus. There are some characters that have the same names from the original Pinocchio story from Italy. I'll talk about those later. But yeah, it's not a like direct like this is a Pinocchio. It's a loose adaptation. So other than like some thematic similarities and some characters that have the similar names, it's a totally different. It's set in like its own universe. It's not set in like our world. It's set in a universe that is. It's set in a world. It has a setting that is very much inspired by like, whoops, by like fascist Italy, which I need to do more research into. I'm kind of just going off of like what little I know about it right now in order to get this current draft going, but I definitely want to do more research in order to influence the story even more. And I want to learn more about like, you know, the technology of the time, culture, and just like the overall, just like the history and everything, of everything going on. Maintaining my own world, but pulling from history, because I think pulling from real life history, it's really good for me as a writer. I honestly, I find it's better for me as a writer to seek out inspiration from real life history more frequently than seeking out inspiration from fiction, because to me anyway, I feel like I get inspired more by real life events, whether that be my own experiences, current goings on, or history, then don't get me wrong, I very much get inspired by fiction as well, but I feel like I get more original ideas from real life experiences and stuff, which I know that's what, you know, fiction is based off of as well, but I know this isn't gonna win us, but I need to guess it anyway. I think I see dent as well. Oh wait, I couldn't type it. So yeah. Trying to make sure I've given a good breakdown of my story. Oh, I saw duet. Okay, so I said it's like a loose adaptation on Pinocchio. I said what the similarities were. So last year I wrote so I think the year before last year, I'd gotten not very far in the first draft of the novel for it. So it was a story I'd sat on for a while, didn't do much with, and then last year I was wanting to practice writing screenplays because I wanted to just to have that skill under my belt, you know. So I wrote an entire, here, I'll show it. I wrote an entire first draft of a screenplay for Madalena. An entire functioning first draft. Hang on. Let me make sure I don't dox myself on this, because I left comments on my other account that might show my name. I just want to make sure we're good. Okay, no, we're good. It just said, okay. All it leaks is like the first letter of my first name. Big whoop. Anyway, so we've got what? In this screenplay draft, we have 26,000 words and 144 pages. That's the screenplay draft. So what I did recently, within the last couple weeks, was I took this screenplay draft that I've finished last year. This was a super satisfying experience for me, being able to get from the complete beginning to end of a story. I did cheat a lot in some places, to basically just like, you know, George Lucas, where it's just, you know, like, and then they fought, you know, type shit. Didn't go into much detail in some parts, but I just, you know, first draft. The idea with the first draft, at least for me, is you kind of just want to get from beginning to end, so you can have a structure to work with later. So what I did with that was I converted that into a novel, because I want this to become a book that I publish one day. So I converted that into a novel. 126 pages, 25,000 words. I don't know how that ended up being less than the screenplay. I think again it was because I did a lot of cheating. But yeah, I essentially just like I basically just edited the screenplay draft, translated it into third person past tense, try to add a little more detail into the scenes, and just made some tried to flesh out the story more in general, without getting bogged down too much in edits. And with that, I've been using this as a frame of reference for novel draft 2. Technically this is draft 3, but I'm calling it draft 2 because it makes more sense to me. God, when did I start this draft 2? I started this... God, I think... last Friday? I don't know. It was not much longer than a week ago. And currently, I am at 7,000, almost 8K words, basically. 29 pages. In, like, less than a week. Maybe a week. Give or take. I've been writing a lot. I wrote... Last Thursday, I wrote, like... Oh god, what did I write? I told my writing buddy. Let me check our DMs. Let's see. Because Thursday I went crazy with it. Damn, I know, right? Wait, 4K. Wait, so I did 1.4K that day. Okay, I don't remember how much. I wrote a lot. I wrote like over 2,000 words on Thursday. That's the point. Not to get too distracted in word count shit. And then Friday, before my stream on Friday, I wrote a lot as well. I wrote close to 2K as well. I think, did I write even more than Thursday, actually? I might have. And then today I haven't done any writing, but that's the plan. Basically from here on out. So I've got chapter 1 filled out. I've got chapter 2 filled out. Again, second draft, haven't done too many edits. But I'm trying to make this as in-depth as possible in one go without going back too much. And then chapter 3, I filled out yesterday. Today, we're gonna see how far we can get to chapter 4. So, that's the idea. That's the plan. I'm gonna turn words back on. So yeah, I guess my goal with this draft is I want to I don't really know what my goals are. I guess I just want to do what I did with my previous drafts. So the idea, because I knew in my last novel draft that I finished that I wasn't gonna make a bunch of edits to that and make that like a fleshed out draft. I just wanted that to be like a solid structure for me to reference as like a beginning, middle, end of the story for me to reference for when I do flesh the story out, but to write a whole new draft separate from that. But with this draft, I think this is going to be one where when I get to the end, I'm going to go back and I'm going to edit the shit out of it, basically. Unless I get to the end and I feel like the story needs so many changes that I need to write a whole new draft. We'll see. We'll see. I might have to rewrite. I might have to write a whole other draft. But I don't know yet. Okay, so let me talk myself into writing chapter 4. So the story starts off. The woodcarver Greta is she's basically, she's at the end of a, she runs her own, shop where she sells, like, decorations, basically, that she's made carved of wood. I think maybe she does a little bit of pottery as well. I don't know. But yeah, she loves carving things of wood. She has a shop that she built up over the years. However, at this point in the story, she has been dealing with a chronic illness for about a year. Sound familiar? Well, it's about to get really familiar if you've listened to anything I've said on stream before. So we meet her late in the day. It's pretty close to time when she usually closes up shop. She's trying to finish carving a wooden thing. It's a wolf's head, basically. She's not able to complete it. It frustrates her, but her health is fucking her over. So she decides, with her last bit of energy, she better start closing up shop, head home. Especially because she currently lives out of town a little bit. She lives on like a pasture. She lives in like a cottage, her dream home. More on that later. A police officer knocks on her door as she closes shop. She's like, "Oh shit, am I in trouble?" Because of the political environment at the time. She thinks maybe, "Oh shit, have they discovered my disability? Are they gonna like dispose of me?" Very Nazi shit, very, very fascist shit. That's what they did back then. They killed disabled people because they were useless, or they killed them or like detained them. They basically just didn't. They thought they were useless to society. But this guy's chill. He actually starts talking shit about the government and everything. She's like, "Oh, okay, damn." But this guy's chill. He's a recurring character that shows up later. So yeah, he buys a wooden sculpture from her, and they leave. It sets up, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but it sets up some thematic stuff. What he buys, why he buys it. I'm not gonna get into that right now. So then she, she closes up shop. She loads up some supplies into her wagon, her cart. I guess wagons are enclosed, aren't they? So I think it's like an open cart, horse-drawn cart. She on her way home, I established that there are protesters in the streets wrapping up for the day. They're heading home. I want to set up some of the political stuff going on, because the thing about the political stuff in this story is it's very peripheral. I want it to be felt and I want it to be relevant, but after like this beginning part of the story, they're not among society a whole lot, other than being chased by the Navy later. Very Star Wars type shit. So a lot of the societal stuff is peripheral, but I do want it to feel long-lasting and that it affects the characters' lives, because it does. It's a huge reason for the journey that happens. But yeah, I want to show some of the social aspects of the world as early on as I can, before it becomes more word of mouth, unless I want to like show it, I was gonna wait, really? I was gonna joke about that, but I figured you were joking. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh, that's so good. So yeah, also on her way home, she gets involved in a little bit of a vehicle accident. She needs to make repairs to her cart. I basically establish here, there's some people that try to help her. She goes, no, I'm fine. She doesn't let the people help her. Greta is a very stubborn, independent person. She does not enjoy accepting help from others. She wants to do everything by herself. She has no employees at her work, which is tough for her because of her disability. She's having a hard time running the business by herself, and I show that in her shop because everything's dusty. She doesn't really have the energy to clean anymore. She doesn't get as much business as she used to because she's not able to craft as much as she used to. And yeah, she's basically at the point now where she's not making enough money, so I mentioned her dream home earlier. She is selling her dream home, one, because she needs the extra money in order to keep surviving, so she's moving to somewhere cheaper in town, much to her dismay, because she hates living among people. Again, sound familiar? Also, she's doing it for her health, so she doesn't have to travel so far between home and work anymore. She's moving into town for that reason. Like, Greta's basically a character who, like, I want you to be reading about her and be like, damn, this bitch's life would be a lot easier if she would just, like, accept help from people. Especially her family. Because I also established early on that her family, they live in another, they live kind of far away. Greta moved away from them for a multitude of reasons that I won't get into today. But she basically doesn't hate them, but she's not entirely comfortable around them. Not because of who they are necessarily, but because of what they do. And because of a certain event that happened involving her family. She doesn't have any particular bad feelings toward her family. She just feels like she's safer when she's not with them. At least that's what she thinks. So, basically, yeah, I just want to establish... I established early on through the subtext and everything and the prose that, like, yeah, her family sends her letters that she no longer reads anymore. Basically telling her, like, hey, you can come back home anytime if you ever need any help, you know, send us back, you know, shoot us back something back in the mail, you know. Ooh, I bet Skewer is one. Yep. Hey, what's up, Aya? I'm talking about Madalena, my story, before I get into writing it. No, they would, yeah. Week should be on there. Actually, yeah, we already guessed both of those. Yeah, feel free to hang out and listen, or just, if you want to just play words and not even pay attention to what I'm saying, hey. We'll just need a vibe. So yeah, basically she gets home, she uses her last little legs of energy, so to speak, to cook dinner for herself. She knows she probably shouldn't lay down immediately after eating, so she starts trying to finish some work on her pet project, which is a life-sized wooden doll. Ooh, I wonder what that could be. It's basically something I talk about in the prose reasons as to why she might have made the doll. But I won't get into that here. But yeah, she's making this life-size doll. It's like a pet project of hers. It's not one that she intends to sell. Brain. It's not one she intends to sell. She gets frustrated because she's trying to finish up the ankle joint on it. But she just doesn't have the energy, so she begrudgingly goes upstairs to go to bed. Another reason why she's selling her dream home is because she's moving into a home in town that doesn't have 2 floors. Sorry, I think I just saw... Yeah. Also, this song gives hella Dusty Desert from '06. It's Ares Island. I wonder if that was intentional. That's... Ooh. I never noticed that before. Anyway, Oh, dude, you could play this in '06 and it would not be out of place at all. But anyway, so yeah, she goes to bed, she's like, you know, damn, I wish I could have finished that ankle, but whatever. I need to go rest. And then, a very heavy wind, starts shaking her house. And she's like, okay, weird. I don't remember that being on the, that being on the radio, on the forecast. It stops. She tries to go back to sleep, and then she hears a crashing downstairs, which doesn't surprise her, but what does surprise her is how, the sound puts a certain feeling in her that makes her think like, oh shit, there is something downstairs. There is someone downstairs. And then she tries to convince herself, like, you know what? I've learned not to trust my thoughts after, late at night. Could be my imagination. And then the noises, there's like more noises downstairs. She's like, okay, this is real. There is something downstairs. I can't ignore this. So she grabs a lamp, like a tall lamp, like the kind of lamp that's meant to go on the ground and be tall, not one that you like put on top of like a table or anything. And she goes out to investigate. She sees a small wooden creature in the dark with bright blue glowing eyes. It scares the shit out of her. She chases it out of her home. But when she does, she notices the thing has it sounds like a little girl. And at first she doesn't think much of it. And then this blue glowing light shines in her face, like a blue orb, and it starts like swearing at her, basically. It's saying words that sound kind of English, but she's not sure if they're actually English or what. I need to figure out what to call it, what to call quote-unquote English in this world, because it's not our world. I need to figure that out. But in the actual prose, I just typed English for now, because I didn't know what else to call it. So she swats at that, she swats at the light. She gets a glimpse of it when the light dims, and it looks like a little person with wings, and she's like, what the? So she chases that out. She locks the doors, she locks the windows, and then she thinks. She thinks about that, like, that fragile little voice from that wooden creature. And she's like, wait a minute. She kind of just acts on, like, instinct. She's like, I need to go check on that creature, because that... she's like, I think I just chased, like, an innocent child out of my house, basically, is what she's feeling. Talking about the lore of people's projects. I'm trying to talk about my writing more on stream. I want to make it more of a prevalent topic, so I'm gonna try to take today to do that. I'm also very inspired. 69. I'm also very inspired by Oh, I need to type continue, not restart. Yeah, I'm very inspired by Eye Candy. I was watching Eye Candy earlier. AICANDII. She was doing a stream that was basically this, where she was playing Words Through Chat while she was writing and talking about her book and stuff and brainstorming. And it was Omega vibes. Loved it. And I figure after my mental breakdown last night, that might be the perfect thing for me to try out. Something different. Because I feel like if I just went live with Crossworlds today, I feel like I would have just felt stuck, you know? So, I needed to freshen things up for myself. What the fuck? That's a word? Oh, by the way, typically, Words doesn't accept, names. I would still try names just in case they happen to also be a word. but it doesn't typically accept quote-unquote names, you know? Like, I don't think you could type Jason. I don't think Jason means anything other than a name. But there are some, you know, some names out there that are also just words. Like Mark, you know? But anyway, back to my book, back to Madalena. Where was I? So yeah, she goes out of her house. She calls out, she's like, hey, come back. Because she realizes what, like, you know, she doesn't want to chase this little child out of her home, like, out into the world all by herself. You know, or whatever this little creature is. That sounded innocent. She doesn't see anything. She turns around. It turns out the wooden girl, is actually just, like, huddled up against the side of the house, like, crying. And, you know, they're both just, like... They're both just in such, like, awe at each other's, like, existence, you know? 'Cause the wooden girl had just come to life for the first time, and Greta's never seen a magical creature before. She's only heard about them before. So in this world, magical creatures have basically gone extinct. They basically, are said to have gone extinct a few decades ago. But they're very much real. They're not like myth or anything. However, maybe the governments of this world would have you believe that they were nothing more than a myth. Kind of like how the Empire feels about the Jedi. Star Wars. A lot of Star Wars influence in this. Maybe you hear about more of that later. But, wait, fairy! Holy shit, I'm about to start talking about a fairy. So yeah, Greta brings the doll inside. How exactly do those events play out? Let me look back at the chapter. Hang on, music's going a little crazy, let me turn it down. Okay, yeah, so they bring her inside. She notices the wooden girl is having trouble walking. So she fixes her bum ankle, basically, that she wasn't able to finish the night prior. And at some point, I don't remember when, but at some point in the story, in the prose, in her thoughts, I think I even have her say it out loud at one point. Greta's convinced this is all just a dream. So for like the next while, like for the next like chapter or two, until the next morning, basically, she's convinced this is all just a dream. So she's just basically just playing along, you know. So she cooks food for them both. They both eat like salted pork chops. Madalena's the wooden girl, I haven't revealed her name yet. The wooden girl, she's very inquisitive, she's very curious about everything. She's looking around Greta's house, she's like, what's this, you know? And then while they're eating, yeah, that's what it is the wooden girl keeps calling Greta, lady. She's like, okay, I have a name, you can call me Greta. And she's like, wait, do you have a name? And she says, she kind of just like, matter-of-factly says, oh yeah, Madalena. And Greta's like shocked at this, for reasons I'm not gonna spoil. But basically that, Madalena having that name is very personal to Greta. Which is part of what convinces her this has to be a dream, because it just doesn't... The whole wooden girl creature coming to life thing doesn't make sense to her anyway, and this just seals it to where it's like, oh yeah, this is a weird dream. I need to stop eating so late, you know? So again, she's just playing along with the dream. She's like, fine, it's called Madalena, whatever. Figment of my, you know, figment of my subconscious, making up weird shit to mess with me because of past events. Let's see. So then they get cold. Greta starts up a fire. They fall asleep. They wake up. Greta notices there's no wooden girl. She notices she is awake by the fireplace. She's like, oh, that's concerning. I guess I've sleepwalked. That's a little weird. She's got a crick in her neck, but other than that, everything seems normal. She goes to the kitchen to make some decaffeinated tea because she can't have coffee anymore because it gives her she can't have caffeinated drinks anymore because it gives her heart palpitations and makes her crash. Again, sound familiar? And then she hears her horse Ignacio. I don't think I dropped his name earlier when I mentioned Ignacio, but yeah, she hears her horse Ignacio like making noises. She assumes like, oh shit, I overslept. He's probably hungry as shit. And then Ignacio bangs against the side of the house. She's like, okay, what the fuck? He shouldn't be out of his stable. She's not worried about him being out of his stable because she knows he won't run away, but she's like, what the hell, how'd he get out? She goes out and she sees Madalena playing around with Ignacio. And she's like, oh my god. So she like slaps her face with cold water and she's finally coming to the realization, last night was not a dream. That shit was real. There is a real, somehow her, life-size wooden doll. Why didn't it restart? Somehow her life-size wooden doll came to life. And she's like, okay, what the fuck? So she brings her back inside, because she's like, yeah, especially out in broad daylight, a magical creature is not safe, and she basically explains to Madalena, magical creatures are not safe in the world of humans, because they hate them. They've been conditioned to hate them by the government. Why isn't it letting me restart? Okay. Well, it's on autopilot, so it should start in like 20 seconds. Oh, whoops. Yeah, she basically explains to Madalena, yeah, if you are seen by humans, they will kill you. You're lucky you came to life in my house, because I'm a little a little more forgiving. I don't really care to sell off magical creatures to the Navy. And then they start another fire, essentially. And then there's a banging on the door, and Greta's like, yo, go upstairs, hide. I don't know who this is, Okay, why? Here, let me click exit. Start. I don't know why it wouldn't let me restart. Alright, there you go. We're back. Whoops. Need to shrink it. Yeah, feed them doggos. Ape escape. What else? Oh yeah, so the banging on the door, as Madalena runs upstairs, it ends up being that blue ball of light again that blinded Greta last night. She starts swatting at it. She can't hit it because the thing is really good at dodging. It's swearing in her face again. And like this, I don't know what I'm gonna call it in the book, but it's gonna be like a Scottish accent. So like Greta and Madalena, most of the characters have like, they've got like British accents, Some of the characters, like the deputy police officers from earlier, he's got like a Scottish kind of accent. And this new character, this blue ball of light, also has it, and she swears like a sailor. She basically reveals that she tried to get back inside. She's complaining that she was chased out of the house last night. She spent all night looking for Madalena. Couldn't find her. She comes back to Greta's house to try to steal some food because she's starving. Couldn't come in through the windows. She tried to come in through the fireplace, and right as Greta lit the fireplace, right as she was trying to come through the fireplace, Greta lit it, and she got blasted with soot and smoke. So the fairy is just pissed now. Oh, it's a fairy, by the way. And then Madalena, reveals herself. She's like, "What are you?" How does that exchange go exactly? She says, "What are you?" Yeah, and then the fairy calms down. Fairy starts complaining again about being blasted with by the fireplace. Yeah, she reveals that she's a fairy, Her name is Linity Foralet, or just Fora for short. She tells them to call her Fora, F-O-R-A. She reveals she's like 458 years old. Not really relevant, honestly. And Greta's like, "What are you doing in my house? You know, why are there two magical creatures in my house? Like, what's going on?" Fora basically tries to get around to explaining it. To be fair, they do talk for a while. I wanted to make sure that there was plenty of pacing between the first knock of Fora's knocking on the door and the next knocking on the door, so it wasn't like too like coincidental. So they do talk for a while about stuff. And you find a way to pad that out even more, honestly. The second person knocking at the door reveals himself to be a ringleader for a circus, and he basically says that he's looking for the fairy that escaped from his show. He's like, "Hey, have you seen a blue light flying around?" Which, by the way, Fora can, she has the ability to, like, project light and, like, she can, like, make the blue glow that emanates from her body. She can, like, adjust it to be completely, you know, blank, where there's no glow, or she'd be super bright, or she could even, like, project images, like, large images, small images, from herself, which is part of why she's such a, coveted attraction for the circus people. And she basically had been held captive there for a long time, and she had just escaped the night prior, and, you know, the ringleader comes to Greta's door and is asking, like, "Hey, what's, you know, have you seen anything around?" And Greta considers it. She's like, "You know, if I do sell off these magical creatures, maybe not to this guy, but maybe to the military, to the Navy, you know, maybe with government money, if they reward me, you know, I can afford, you know, some better healthcare, maybe figure out what's going on with me, you know, what are these health issues I have." But ultimately, she goes, no, I haven't seen anything. You know, he tries to hold back his disappointment. He's like, "All right, well," and he hands her like a card, and he's like, "You know, come see our show tonight. You know, or not, it's not that night, but it's like within the next few days. You know, if we happen to find our fairy, we're gonna be hosting our you know, we're gonna be throwing a show." And then there's a crash upstairs, and Greta's like, "Oh shit, they just revealed themselves." And then the ringleader just says, "Bring the kids," you know, and then he leaves. And she's like, whew. She goes upstairs. She finds out that they just like broken like a lamp or a vase or something. And the girls are pointing at each other like, "She did it." And then Greta catches a dizzy spell. Madalena runs downstairs to go get her some water. By the way, all the blinds are closed, so she doesn't have to worry about being seen downstairs. Greta closed the blinds at one point that morning. And then Greta lies down. Fora says, "Thank you for not selling us off. Just for a human, you're not that bad." And then Greta says, "I'm no one you should be counting on." I need to reword that for sure. But generally, the idea I'm trying to get across. Did y'all say genie yet? Nope, I see genie. Which I think is like a made-up word anyway. Because technically it'd be like D-J-I-N-N. Or like D-J-I-N-N-I or something. But anyway. So that brings us to chapter 4, which I have not written yet, at least not in this draft. So yeah. Last we saw the characters, they just had a run-in with the circus people that were looking for Fora. She basically threw them off her trail. And now I need to figure out what to do from there. I know what happens in the story. Let me look at draft 1, see what happened at that point. So now is the time, over an hour into the stream, where I finally start writing. But I think it was good for me to start off stream venting about stuff, and to explain the story, get everyone up to speed. Basically just talk myself into beginning to talk about the story. So now we're ready to write. So let's see. Okay, so that's earlier. Sorry, I'm just trying to find... I should have made chapters in this first draft so I can easily go between sections. Oh, wait, I did. Okay, I didn't name them, though, so that doesn't help. Let's see, they're traveling on the road in the forest. Okay. So in the first draft, at this point in the story, I have Greta explaining to the girls, like, hey, you guys can't stay with me, which I do that in this draft. I forgot to mention that. She's like, hey, you guys can't stay with me. First off, magical creatures can't be living with a human, especially since I'm about to move into town. And also, I just don't have the health to take care of a child. And ultimately, they come to an agreement. They're like, fine, we know we can't stay with you, but you can't just throw us out into the cold either. And Greta's like, all right. After I get some rest, I'm going to go into town, get you guys some supplies, send you on your way. You know, wish you the best of luck. Hopefully you don't get caught by any humans. But essentially the trajectory I want to put Greta down is that she feels like, you know what? I don't belong in the world of humans. Both because of her own mindset on the world and because of the way the world has treated her thus far. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna go with them. I'm gonna see if I can escape from this world too. You know? And throughout the course of the journey, she forms bonds with, Madalena and Fora. And, you know, we'll have to see, how that relationship turns out. So now I just need to figure out, how do I transition from, hey... So I guess I just need to start Chapter 4 with Greta going out to get supplies. However, I don't know if there's anything worth showing from her POV, because up to this point, at least in this draft, this new draft, it's been entirely in Greta's POV so far. So I'm wondering if maybe now we switch to Madalena's POV, Fora's POV, or maybe we show a POV from one of the circus characters. Because basically what happens next is, while Greta's gone, while she's in town, fetching supplies for the girls, for them to go on their journey. At this point, Greta's still convinced that she's just gonna send them off and she's gonna continue on with her own life. While she's gone, the forest actually had come back to her home. They'd broken in and stolen the girls, which I would like to show that. Cause I don't know. Now that I'm saying it out loud, maybe it'd be more shocking for her to show the story through her POV still, and for her to come home, the door's wide open, and the girls are gone. She's like, oh shit. And then she looks at the card that she'd left on like the table or whatever, the card that he handed her advertising their show, the circus, and she was like, no way they fucking, she wouldn't say fucking because this is like, I'm not gonna have any F-bombs in this story. She's like, no fucking way they broke into my house and took them. So it pisses her off. She's like, you know what? I'm gonna go save these girls from the circus. So I think that's how Chapter 4 needs to end. Or at least that needs to happen in Chapter 4. Whether or not it ends there, I'm not sure. You'll do ammo yet? No. Let me type ammo. So I need to figure out how to get to that point. Let me type that down so I don't forget either. In this chapter, Greta discovers that the girls had been kidnapped, and she highly suspects that it was the circus people. Because she, like, not only did she get bad vibes from the ringleader guy when he was at her door, but Ignacio, because Ignacio was still out of his stable, was, like, standing off to the side of the house, like mean-mugging, the ringleader guy. Which currently, for the longest time, I've just been calling him the ringleader in my story. I don't know if I'm going to give him a name or not, or just keep him as the ringleader. I think it'd be fun, maybe just to have him be ringleader. Nobody actually knows his name, or nobody calls him by his name. That could be fun, I think. Which, by the way, this ringleader guy, in my head, he's just Andy Serkis. Like, he's just Andy Serkis. And I had a funny idea at one point early on in the story to just call him, I'll type it in chat, to just call him, so this is how Andy Serkis's name is spelled in real life. I thought about calling him this. I'm not doing that, though. That's a little too silly. But I did think about it early on. Like, evening, madam. I'm Andy Serkis. But, I'm not that kind of writer. It's not that kind of story. There's gonna be plenty of comedy for sure, but not, like, fourth wall breaking type shit. This is not a Gintama. We love pun names. I need to make a mood board. I want to make a. I've been meaning to make a mood board and post it to my socials for Madalena, to show y'all some of the face casting, I think it's called, like when you like think of like real life people casted as your characters. By the way, I could see this being either live action or like animated. By the way, I've imagined it in both. Maybe even like stop motion. Ooh, y'all are killing it in words now. They're locked in. Okay, so what helps me when I'm trying to figure out what to do with a chapter is I have to, here, I'll show it real quick. I'll show you all my thought process. So I like to type out what I'm struggling with and what I needed to accomplish. So here I'm gonna type, it'll let me. I need to figure out whose POV to write this in. Greta, Fora, Madalena, circus people. The problem is at this point in the story, in my earlier drafts, I'd written a scene that introduced the circus from their POV, it wasn't anyone, because it was still screenplay, so it wasn't really in POV yet. It was just kind of written broadly, but it showed the circus people at their circus tent when the ringleader's crashing out. He's like, "Where's my fairy?" You know, he starts like beating up his performers. And he's like, "We need to split up and find the fairy." Basically to establish the different characters. God, I love the circus characters I've written. I can't wait to introduce them to y'all. I love them so much. They literally steal the finale at one point. I need to figure out how to rewrite the finale so they don't completely take it over from the actual main cast. Yeah, I introduced them there, but the problem in this draft is I've completely skipped that scene, which I'm not a huge fan of. But for the sake of pacing, I don't know if I can put that scene in. 'Cause, like... Let's go to the beginning of chapter 3. I don't know. That's tricky. That's tricky. Because it's like... This is the morning after Fora escaped. It wouldn't make any sense to show this, the ringleader discovering that the fairy had escaped. Well, you know what? Maybe they could, maybe, you know what? Maybe they didn't find out she escaped until that morning. I've never considered that until just now. Also, dandruff. Up until just now, I've been so married to the idea of, oh, the circus and the ringleader, they found out that Fora escaped basically the moment that she did, and they'd been trying to pursue her all night. But maybe, I'll even write this down. Maybe, the ringleader only found out that Fora escaped that morning, or the morning after. That might help. That might make it to where I can still introduce the circus characters from one of their POVs, establishing that cast, while also teasing like, wait, there's an escaped fairy? Ooh, you know what? You know what I could do? You know what I could do? I could have it... Let me go to the part in the story where Forrest shows up. Oh, it's chapter 4, not 3. Okay. Cause I don't like the idea of Fora knocks on the door, they meet Fora, and then like a few minutes after the ringleader's there. It's like, not a fan of that pacing. A little too coincidental there. So maybe what I can do is the scene after they meet Fora, that's when we that's when we switch POVs to the circus. The ringleader's like, what the hell? Where's my fairy? We need to spread out and go find her. And then we cut back to Greta's POV. You know, she's still resting, maybe. Yeah, she's still resting. She's resting, and then she gets the knock on the door from, the circus people. Or maybe, ooh, Greta's getting ready to head out to go get supplies so the girls can leave. And on her way out, she runs into the circus people. She's like, no, they're not there. And then Fora reveals she escaped from the circus. Okay, I need to do a little bit of restructuring, but I think it'll be worth it. I'm talking myself into a new trajectory here. It's not too crazy. I guess I have to exit and start again. That's really weird. Hard to make things concurrent in writing, but I'm a noob with writing. Yeah, it's a challenge, but it's one that I love taking on. Oh, by the way! Whoops. Look! I got the fucking mock-ups for the merch! Oh! Look, we got stickers. We got mugs. We got tumblers. Stickers. Yeah, stickers. Basically just different angles of the stickers. Yeah, the mug. I got 2 different mugs, all the cozy, all the stonks' mugs. I think my favorite mug, by the way, is... Okay, my favorite tumbler... You can order any of these in all these different colors. My favorite tumbler is this one with the orange cap and the sippy. I love that. I do want to ask them if they can cut the tail off, though. Because the tail is already cut off on the emote, so I'm gonna see what they can do about that. And the notebook! Look at the notebook, dude! Isn't that so cute? They made that so much better than I thought would be possible. I hope it prints okay. I hope it doesn't look like low quality. Yeah, Dino Notebook. You know, I'm the writer streamer. You get to write my branding on it. And I believe this is a keychain. So you'll have like a Dino Heart keychain, which I'm definitely getting. I'm gonna try to get as much of these as I can. I don't get like free versions of these. I have to buy them myself, but yeah. Anyways, what the fuck was I doing? Here, let's go ahead and restart this. Oh, can I not restart? Oh, I can't restart it while it's still going. Okay, never mind. Okay, so... So, even if Greta did do something so cruel, what if the Navy would only punish her for harboring the creatures? She sighed. Okay, this is where I need to make either just a POV change or a chapter change. I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to worry about... Basically, we need to write the scene out. So what I'm going to do to make things easier for myself is I'm going to go back to novel draft 1. I'm going to go to the scene that introduces the circus characters. I think that's chapter 5 in the last draft. Yes, okay. So I'm going to copy this scene from draft... What is going on with words? Just restart forehead. There we go. So yeah, I'm going to copy... Glad y'all are hyped about the merch, by the way. Love to see it. Anyway, I'm going to copy this from the first novel draft and paste it into the second, just so I can have something to work with. Although it's probably going to change a lot. It's definitely going to change a lot. So let's see. Let's make a scene break here. Let's make a scene break here. Let's paste this into here. All right. So we are now... This is the first POV switch in the story. Somewhere... This is either going to start chapter 4 or just be like part of chapter 3, but I'll worry about that later. Right now, I just need to write it. Okay. So now I need to figure out whose POV. Let me type this out. Whose... It helps me to type these things out. Think out loud, so to speak. Just think on the page. Whose POV? Ringleader. Fire Eater. Harlequin. Rosara. Simon. I think those are the only named characters in the scene. Yeah. Ooh, y'all are crushing it in words right now. Hey, what's up, Pog? Dare you to play the Sunky games? No idea what that is. Okay, gotta figure out the POV. We do this in the ringleader's POV. We can continue to write it in a mature way, because he's the oldest of the characters. He's the most cruel of them. Because he treats them all like shit. But also, we could do with Fire Eater, Rosara, and Simon. We could show something very childish and parody of Sonic games. Okay. And vulnerable. Show how they're victims of this ringleader. And then with Harlequin, he also is like them, but he's a little more. I guess Harlequin is like the Rocket Raccoon of this group. I couldn't think of another example, but where he just like doesn't take anything seriously. He just like makes fun of everybody all the time and stuff. That's his way of coping with his trauma and everything. I think early on, because they're the most important members, though, they're the ones that get the most development. I probably should have. I think I need to nail this down. Let me cut out Simon and Harlequin. This needs to be written from either Ringleader's POV, Fire Eater's POV, or Rosara's. Rosara and Ringleader definitely get the most development. So let's cut out Fire Eater. So it's a question of, do I want to showcase this scene from Ringleader's POV to show his frustration, or do we show it through a more relatable character's lens of Rosara, who's one of the performers, who also gets abused by him. Either one could work. Either one could work. I am actually leaning more towards Rosara. I want the reader to feel what Rosara's feeling rather than what Ringleader's feeling. So yeah. Let's write this in Rosara's POV. So this scene is the same morning that Greta woke up. She discovered that Madalena is real, which is a word that y'all just guessed, which wasn't actually in the thing. Oh wait, no, it was. Ringleader's crashing out. He's like, I'm literally gonna start the scene with him saying, "Where's my fairy?" I've been doing that since like the earliest drafts, and I love that. Just, "Where is my fairy?" It's like Andy Serkis crashing out. I love that. So yeah. The Ringleaders. So this is, I described the Ringleader coming to Greta's house earlier, but this is taking place before that. We're backtracking a little bit. We're writing this, and then we're gonna get back to that part later. Oh, let me hit continue for you guys. Oh, never mind, it's going. I can only imagine. Did Zealot write Madalena today? I wonder. Actually, I just now wrote the first words. The Ringleader's voice. The Ringleader's voice echoed through the tent. I need to learn more about circus stuff. I need to learn what kind of tent I am. So this tent is one where they keep a lot of like, this is like a storage tent basically. And maybe it's just called storage tent. I'll even just call it that. The Ringleader's voice echoed through the storage tent. Echoed through the storage tent, and then watch this. Piercing Rosara's ears. Aha, see? I get to have my cake and eat it too. We're starting the scene showing Ringleader's crash out, but we're also immersing it in Rosara's POV. Because you're feeling what she's feeling in her ears. Again, just to get the general idea down. I'm sure I'll edit this later, but... Did anyone do Sever? Yeah. Where's my fairy? The Ringleader's voice echoed through the storage tent, piercing Rosara's ears. So... In, what I copied from the last draft, it says, Harlequin, the hollow-cheeked clown, hesitated to speak. Well, sir, I don't know if that's in character for Harlequin. I don't know if he'd be as, open with his fear for the Ringleader. I don't think he would necessarily be... necessarily hostile towards Ringleader, because he does fear him, but... Oh, by the way, for those that don't know, when you guess a word, it locks you for a little bit. Wait for the little lock next to your name in the game to go away. Before you can guess again. There's a cooldown, basically, between your guesses. And you'll see, like, the blue bar there, like... Once the blue bar passes the next lock, that's when you can guess again. Of course, you can guess right now, but you can only guess once until it passes the lock. Okay, so... Yeah, we need to... But do I want to have Harlequin be the one reacting to him? No, I want to show more. I want to establish the look of the location and and what the Ringleader's doing physically, other than yelling. So, Ringleader's voice echoed through the storage tent, piercing Rosara's ears. Ringleader. I don't know if I want to call him the Ringleader every time, or if I should just shorten it to Ringleader. Or if I just give him a name. That is an Andy Circus. Ringleader paced around, staring through each of the circus performers. When his eyes met Rosara's, what did she feel? She felt not good. Anyone do load, L-O-D-E? Let's see, she felt... Here, staring through each of the circus performers with wide, expecting eyes. Wait, I'll just say with wide, aggressive eyes. Okay, in the last draft I said, later on I say wide, expecting, aggressive eyes. That's too much. Let's just say wide, expecting eyes. I don't know if expecting is a great word there, but it does get across the intentions for now. I can edit it later. Edit. When his eyes met Rosara's, she felt... Not even she felt. I don't like telling you how someone felt. I like showing physical reactions to things in my writing, as opposed to she was scared, you know? I'd rather show, like, you know, like her heartbeat fast type shit. That's more interesting to me. Because then it gets repetitive if all you do is, like, she was scared, you know? He was happy, you know? You know, in a super rough first draft, fine. You know, because you just want to get from beginning to end. But at this point, I'm trying to find a balance between getting to the end of this draft, but also fleshing it out enough. Also, when you're playing words, there's never... You can never guess words any less than 4 letters. Also, this one's tough. Y'all are cooked. I was gonna say, wait. No, yeah, because there's only one S. I was gonna guess Insidious. Anyway, when his eyes met Rosara's, let's see. Her heart jolted, we'll just say that. I use that a lot in my writing, but it works for now. When his eyes met Rosara's, her heart jolted. He moved on to... oh wait, well, okay, we'll have Simon say it. Should I have Simon or Fire? Because Simon and Fire Eater are both pretty timid characters. I feel like one of them is going to be the one to speak up here, to tell him maybe they saw. I don't know. Because now that it's the morning after in Tynos, I don't think that would be a real word, unfortunately. Because nobody would have seen... Well, I don't know. Maybe... Let's say hypothetically speaking. Simon and Fire Eaters saw Fora escape last night. They didn't help her. They're not that brave. They didn't help her. But they didn't report it immediately, because they were afraid to. But maybe now they're thinking, we need to, he's, you know, the boss is mad. You know, we need to speak up, basically. Otherwise, we're just gonna be in deeper trouble later. I'll do that. So now the question is, should I have Simon speak up or Fire Eater? I feel like Fire Eater is even more timid, because Fire Eater's like he's the big, hulking, like, kind of scary-looking character, but he's actually just like a big softy. I feel like he's definitely the most timid out of all the characters, even more so than Simple Simon. That's actually his name. That's his name in, that's one of the characters' names from the circus in the original Pinocchio, so... this is my version of that character. Except it's a person, it's not a marionette like in that story. It's like a guy. I don't remember what he looked like, though. I'm gonna have to look at my Pinterest board here in a second. I don't know if I did do any pins for him. Oh, name. Wide expecting eyes. When his eyes met Rosaria's, her heart jolted. Simon... Okay, so I want to show that Simon and Fire Eater... Yeah, Simon and Fire Eater whispered to each other in a panic. Probably a better way to word that, but again, I can edit later. Simon and Fire Eater whispered to each other in a panic. Ringleader took notice and hunched aggressively as he approached them. Well, boys? Well, boys? Ringleader said. Aw, we lost. Something on your mind? He says something like that. Simon's Adam's apple. Would I guess it would be Simon's Adam's apple. I was wondering if I should capitalize the A in Adam's apple. Like for Adam. Because it's not technically someone's name, but I don't know, I guess it is. How about Cots? Yep. Simon's Adam's apple, oh, what would I call that? You know, like when you're swallowing nervously and you're like, Adam's apple jumps? I don't like that. Shifts? No. There's gotta be a word that conveys, like, his anxiety. Simon's Adam's apple... I could also just say he swallowed, but I like specifically honing in on a detail. On his throat. Simon's Adam's apple... Let me look up synonyms for jump. I do this a lot when I'm writing. I look up synonyms all the time. I don't know a lot of these words off the bat. I kind of just have to like, what's the closest thing to what I'm thinking? Jump synonyms. Not anonyms, synonyms. Synonym? Ooh, cooked. Let's see, leap, spring, bound, hop, bounce. His Adam's apple bounced. Okay. Wait, why did it restart? What the? Toes and jobs. Ayo. Hang on, let me reset words. I don't know why it does that. Alright. Simon's Adam's apple bounced. You know what? I like that. That works. Simon's Adam's apple bounced as he stepped forward. I don't really remember what Simon looks like, so I'm not gonna worry about that right now. So I'm just gonna move on with the scene and worry about that later in edits. What's up, D-Hedge? We are, I'm writing right now. Writing my book on stream. I got inspired by watching another streamer do that this morning. Got kind of burnt out on Crossworlds, stuff, so... Crazy Bosnia. I don't think it allows, like, country names, but let me try Bosnia. Yeah, no, it doesn't do, like, names of places. But anyway, yeah, as we're writing, Twitch chat has been playing Words on stream. You can also play if you scan that QR code, not the big one at the top. Here, let me grab the thing. The one on here, on the purple thing. If you want to play along, guess some words. It's a lot of fun. Great way to kill some time. Let me know if you can't scan the QR code, if I need to make the screen bigger. But yeah. Do you like indie games? Random as fuck, but yeah. I wanna play more indie games. Yeah, merge chats. You can, yeah, YouTube and Twitch chat can now see each other. I told you guys the YouTube chatters weren't a figment of my imagination. Dead as Disco? Isn't that game that you've been modding? Cool. Yeah, maybe I'll check it out. Okay, yeah, so Simon's Adam's apple bounced. Why does it keep... Restart. I don't know why it just, like... No one could hit... Oh, I guess we can't restart when there's no one, like, technically playing. Like, when no one guesses any words, I guess. As he stepped forward. I need to be careful about people anxiously licking their lips, because I love showing anxiety through that, but I don't want to overdo it. But I low-key want to write that right now. With Simon. People do that when they're scared, they like lick their lips, you know? Like their lips get dry and they're like, oh shit, you gotta lube it up. Do mess and muse. And sums. S-U-M-S. I think loom, L-U-M-E is a word. Maybe even looms. Look at my lips right now, but I ain't anxious. Hey, you need to get some chapstick. Anyway, Simon's out on about to step forward. Okay, so we'll have him say, "Well, sir." I don't even really have a solid voice for Simon in my head. He's one of the least developed characters in the story. Ringleader impatiently raised his brows. Simon wetted his lips and stuttered. She got away last night. Oh, I forgot I wrote this. Well, come on then. Spit it out, mate. Oh, I'm definitely putting that in. Hang on. So after Ringleader impatiently raises his brows. Come on then, spit it out, mate. I love that. I mean, it's terrible. This guy's a piece of shit, but... Okay, she got away last night, and then... Ooh, there was another detail I left out. So as he approached them... Well, boys, Ringleader said, as he got right up in their faces. Something on your minds? Yeah, you would say minds, not mind. I need to be careful here because we've already lost track of Rosara's POV. I could probably bring it back in edits though. Find a way to integrate it. There's no you. What do you mean burst? That one's tough. Bits? Doesn't matter now. There's no way we're making it, but... Yeah, bits. Slit. S-L-I-T. By the way, if anyone wants to, like... be productive along with me, you know, you don't have to tell me, but I encourage it. You know, if you don't want to play words, maybe if you want to get something done, maybe you want to get your own writing done, maybe some drawing, or whatever. Something other than playing a video game. Unless you're playing a video game for like, I don't know, maybe you're a modder or something, I don't know, but... yeah, something productive. Feel free, because I'm writing right now, I'm being productive. Again, you don't have to tell me, but if you do want to tell me, let me know. I usually write that AU. Oh, nice. I didn't know you did that while I streamed. Sure. I'll gladly be your second monitor content while you're writing peak. Okay, so she got away last night. Simon wetted his lips and stuttered. She got away last night. You know what? I'll have Fire Eater say it, because Simon steps up. You expect him to say something, and then ooh, create good guess. You expect him to say it, but he takes so long to say it that Fire Eater says it. The gorilla-shaped, bearded Fire Eater answered. It flew away. It flew. The ringleader walked toward Fire Eater, then stopped and shook his head, chuckling. It flew away, he said, wistfully. He slammed a foot down on Fire Eater's toes, causing the Titan to fall down to one knee with a sad yelp. The sad yelp? Pathetic yelp. Maybe just a yelp. Just a yelp. I think that works by itself. Fire Eater's eyes watered, and the ringleader slapped him in the face. Ringleader was a short man, no taller than a buck fallow deer, but he kicked like a mule. Wait, I'm keeping this stuff. I'm gonna keep this. This is actually pretty good. He elbowed Fire Eater in the temple, sending him to the ground. Oh god, I'm about to read some old dialogue. I don't know if this is gonna work well or not. I don't think I've ever read this out loud, but fuck it. Alright, let's imagine Andy Serkis. Oh, did y'all make it? Ooh, you're like one guess away. Anyway. What is the sole thing keeping this business afloat, hmm? Any guesses? Oh, I remember in an earlier draft I had him say, any guessers? Like, what is he, your fucking streamer? Any guessers? He paused. I'll tell you one thing. I actually wrote it for him to stutter like that. I love making people stutter when I write dialogue. It feels so rich to me. I've had some people say it feels tedious to read, but I don't know. I love reading it in other people's stories, and I love writing it. I love it when people stutter. Like in dialogue. Like when you show it. It sure is the sun is bright, it's not any of you sorry lot. I don't know if I like that analogy, but I'll keep it for now. Simple Simon answered. Why don't I just say that after the dialogue? The fairy ringleader, Simple Simon answered. And I can just say Simon at this point. Stutters are nice, but with anything in writing, overuse isn't. Yes, everything on moderation. You wanna, I think you wanna save it for when it makes the most sense to show. For sure. You don't wanna have it be all the time. I was gonna do research, but there's only one E. You could do surge though. Like the Tenric. What about Surger? Someone try Surger. Oh, surgery! There you go. I don't know if surger is the word, but I've been surprised by the weird words that I've discovered playing this game. Okay, so after Simon answered with the fairy ringleader, the ringleader smiled so big his eyes nearly shut. He walked to Simon with a firm pat on his shoulder and nodded. The fairy. And what happens if we don't have the fairy anymore? Don't bother answering. I can't keep wasting my time here. We lose business. And without business, we have nothing. You all have nothing. Because you are nothing. And you will always be nothing without me. Without this business... Okay, I don't need to have him say that. You lot are just the buffer. While the audience finds their seats for the real show. I think there's a better word for me to use than buffer. Octua Palace! What's up, Sin? Sin to a Palace? Hello. Hope your stream went well. We're playing Words on stream, and I'm writing my book. Ooh, I see one immediately. Finish! Oh, pfft. If I can type it right. Okay. The honest fighters the seats for the real show. So we're all going to go out there and find that fairy. And you are not to return until you find it. Got it? I don't care if you get hungry, or tired, or bored. You do not return until I find you, or you find the fairy. Understood? Everyone nodded. I think I'll say the performers nodded to remind you who everyone is. You see what I mean? Like, he's just like Andy Serkis in my head. The performers nodded. Move out now! In pairs, come on, in pairs! And to have him say, ringleaders said, or ringleaders shouted. You gotta be careful. When you're writing dialogue, at least, I'll say what I do. When I write dialogue, I try to generally just have dialogue tags, you know, said, yelled, asked, you know, those are called dialogue tags. I generally try to just limit those to said, because dialogue tags can be unnecessarily distracting. When they're not, when you're not using them to further imply an intended emotion. Sometimes it can be distracting to use anything other than he said, you know. But for this instance, I think shouted works. I do use an exclamation point, so you probably don't need to say he shouted. You could probably just say said. But I feel like said feels a little too casual here. I could maybe even use another word, maybe some kind of synonym for shouted later on when I edit. But for now, I'll just say he shouted. The performers dispersed as Fire Eater finally... Here, let's do this. Because this is in Rosara's POV. The performers dispersed as Rosara helped Fire Eater to his feet. He rubbed the sore spot on his head. Come on, lad. Ringleader said. You're with me. Yes, sir. Fire Eater said. Oh, is this from Final Horizon? Yeah. Oh god, we're gonna hear the fucking Knuckles one in a minute. God damn it. This one's good, though. The Knuckles one is just fucking... Dormammu, I've come to bargain. Yeah, Sinflower would be the one to guess biceps, Giga Chad. What about spic? Is that a word? S-P-I-C? I can't guess right now. Oh wait, never mind. I can now. Nope. Come on, lad, Ringleader said. You're with me. Yes, sir. Fire Eater said. Fire Eater said. As he walked away. Walked away. As he walked away, waving at Rosara. Bye, Rosara. Bye, Rosara. Maybe he just says Rosara. I think, because I know later on Harlequin just calls her Rosa. But I like the idea of Fire Eater just calling people, like, not like shortening people's names. I don't know why. That's a slur? What, ices? Goddamn frozen water. Hey, good shit. Good shit. Y'all advanced a level. Haven't done that in a while. I haven't typed continue in forever. There we go. Continue? Spic. Oh. Why did I say it again? Goddammit. My bad. My bad. Yeah, you gotta be careful when you're guessing words in this game, man. You never know what you're gonna say. No, okay, so, what I was thinking of when I said that word, it's part of like a faucet, right? I don't know how it's spelled, though. No, I'm good, dude. That's a real word. That's a word other than... Like, there's words that are slurs in certain contexts, but they're also just, like, normal, everyday, like, objects. I'm good, dude. I'm good. A spic... I swear that's a word for something else. I won't say it again just in case, but... Okay, spigot sounds like a slur. Wait, is that even a real word? I don't even know anymore. I'm gonna stop playing words. I'm gonna get back to my book. Oh god, wait, I'm sorry. I'm skipping this one. Gotta let the body flow. I can't with that one. Bye, Rosara. So I need to, when I go back to make edits, I need to make Rosara much more present in this scene, considering it's from her POV. Or I could just have it from Fire Eater's POV. We'll see. But I do like the idea of analyzing the scene through Rosara's perspective. I need to put more of her inner thoughts in here. We need to revert to grunting like cavemen. True. Sorry, I can't do fucking vocals right now. That's gonna distract me. Does this one have lyrics? No, it doesn't. Okay, good. If you really want it. Wait. But then what does the term spick and span mean? That means like clean, right? Unless that's like an outdated thing. I'm gonna stop talking. Wait, what screen did I have? Oh, it was this one. Never mind. We're good. Do you know about the cooldown feature, Sin, in words? When the lock is next to your name, you have to wait for it to go away before you can guess again. Okay, and bring the frog. Ringleader said. Yeah, I like the idea of his name just becoming Ringleader. Ringleader said, then looked at the entryway to one of the smaller tents. Toward, because he can't actually see it, but toward. Then looked at the entryway toward one of the smaller tents. There were all kinds of animal noises, but the scene ended on a frog's croak. Oh, that's that's when it was still written. That's when it was still written in the screenplay format. Animal noises. A variety of animal noises? A variety of animal noises. Called out? I don't know. What do you call, like, a group of noises? Why is my model frozen? Okay, well, it's just gonna be like that, I guess. Variety of animal noises cried, maybe? I don't know. I used cried a lot in the last draft. I won't lie. A variety of animal noises cried out. From within. Okay, I'm gonna edit this scene now just so I can make Rosara's POV more established. Here. I'll do that after I go to the bathroom. Alright, I'll be right back. Yep. We've returned. What's up, Roasted? I see you know how to use words commands. Did it work? Does it let you do the commands? Be pog if so. It's funny, you originally applied to be a mod for me because you wanted a mod for someone that wasn't a VTuber, and now look where we are. Don't think it did? Worth the effort. Yeah, I guess only the streamer can do it. Yeah, it's on autopilot. Yeah, like after the first paragraph, chat. After the first paragraph. Like, after when his eyes met Rosara's, her heart jolted. After that, I just like completely forgot about her POV for the whole rest of the scene. So I'm gonna try to fix that right now. Try to make it more through her eyes. Oh, time to restart the Frontiers playlist. Oh, I got some froyo while I was gone too. Sorry if you could hear me chewing. How about liar? Wait, I think you could do that with an I and a Y. Oh, there's Lear. L-E-E-R. I think L-Y-R-E is also a word. Yep. See, that's crazy. T1, you're not the first person to make that joke in this stream. Hope you know that. This is a vibe, by the way. Fuck Crossworlds, man. No, I love that game, but it was nice to change things up today. I'll give it $1.50. I don't even know if we'll get around to Bonanza. We probably will, but it's only 2 hours in the stream. I want to try to make this a 6-hour one. I needed a change of pace, man. Ooh. Eyeliner. Yo. That's why, hey. That's why I'm the writer. I know the big words. I'll finish writing after I finish this snack. Or I'll continue writing. Oh. Crossroads Wednesday. Oh, yeah. I still want to do that with you. I think at most, I might cancel. I was going to do like a group collab on Friday. Oh yeah, I don't know why it does this. I think when you don't guess enough or something, you have to like completely reset it. I don't know. Yeah, Wednesday's still good. I don't mind that. I might have to cancel my group collab stream on Friday though. It depends. Cause I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of burnt out on like one-on-one collabs, sure, but group collabs I'm kind of burnt out on. I won't lie. Because as fun as they are, it really is just like stimming the whole time. And it's fun. I love that, but you know, everything in moderation. This shit just overstimulates me, and it makes me miss out on doing stuff like this, just chilling out with chat, you know, slow pace, talking about deep stuff, accidentally saying slurs apparently. Whoops. No, I should have told you that I was still good for Wednesday. I had already thought about it. I should have thought maybe you wouldn't be sure since the way I've been feeling lately. But yeah, I'll be fine. Can't do animal. Oh yeah, yeah. Of course. Nobody's done nail? Oh god, we just need one more to progress. One more word. Lamin. I don't think that's a word. Lanham. Lane! Oh! Saved. I'm gonna keep it $1.50, by the way. This stream is exactly what I needed. I haven't been thinking about view count. I haven't been thinking about... Oh my god. I only have I don't even know how many viewers I have right now, and I don't really care to know. I only have 3 viewers right now, and such has, you know, 50, and they're playing the same game. Oh my god. I needed a break from that shit. I need to get out of that fucking mindset. 67 viewers. I need to, like I said earlier, I need to rediscover how to just stream for the sake of it. For the love of the game. Just for the joy of it. And not worry about growth so much. Oh, I beat you to forklift. I'm forklift certified, bitch. By the way, I need to shout somebody out. / shout out eye candy chat. If y'all want more, if y'all want to enjoy streams with these level of vibes, go follow Candy. I just did a shout out. She was doing this the exact thing we're doing right now, where I'm writing while y'all play words. Literally, she was doing this morning. It inspired me to do that, and I couldn't have gotten that inspiration at a better time, because I really needed to do something different on stream today. Huge dub. She usually seems like super early in the morning, though. But perfect for me when I wake up at 3 AM and doom spiral. Ooh, one more when we pass. Let's see. Don't believe cult is a word, but it is the name of a friend. Do I need a reason to want to help out a friend? Did y'all do forts? You didn't do fort. Hey, we got 2. What about filt? Let me guess, it's probably another slur, isn't it? Oh, I couldn't guess anyway. I was locked. I thought you didn't get locked out for after the last lock. Maybe that's for later levels. Ooh, I bet foil would have been valid. Tiling? Lighting, ooh. You could also do light then. I'm like Light Gaia, except L-I-T-E. Yeah, that's a word, guilt. What was the other one I said? I said light and I said something else. Oh, tiling. Yeah, let's go. You forgot. Hey, I mean, it worked out. You never know. You gotta try some weird words sometimes. I don't know. I don't think this is a word. I'm gonna type Jing. Jing freaks. Ooh, I would do tingling, but there's only one in. Hey, you know what? We passed. Alright, let me see. Let me get back to my writing. After I click continue for you guys. We're seeking our periods. Someone mentioned a Twitch chat. Why do I want to type mater? Like Terminator, but without the tuh. Okay, so when his eyes met Rosara's, her heart jolted. And then we've got Simon and Fire Eater whispered to each other. Should I just say she noticed Simon and Fire Eater whispering to each other? Because I want to try to keep this in Rosara's head as much as possible. I think we need to add a little bit of her thoughts here, not just her heart jolted. Like, what is she thinking right now? Where is my fairy? Ringleader's voice echoed through the storage tent, piercing Rosara's ears. Ringleader paced around, staring through each of the circus performers with wide, expecting eyes. When his eyes met... two instances of eyes there, but... not too worried about that right now. When his eyes met Rosara's, her heart jolted. Alright, let's do another paragraph. Let's put some of her inner thoughts here. I need to immerse myself into the head of Rosara. So far, I've been writing this draft in Greta's POV. This is the very first POV switch. Wasn't expecting Rosara to be the first switch, but okay, interesting. What is she thinking about? What is she feeling? Rosara... she is the character out of the troupe that is the most devoted to the ringleader. They're all scared of him. Well, there's more to it than that, but I won't spoil. She's the one that feels the most attachment to him. Feels like she needs to, like, protect him in a way. It's not a good relationship. He abuses her, he abuses all of them. He treats them like shit. So, yeah, she's very codependent. She feels like she is nothing without him. Which, if you heard that speech I read out that he gave earlier, you know, it's kind of the mindset he has them all in. Like, they are nothing without him. Dynamic. So what would she be thinking in this moment? I want to say writing Rosara's thoughts about Ringleader. She should be somewhere between showing fear for him, but also showing care. But the care doesn't come out of a place. She is a kind soul at her core. It's just the people she chooses to care about, the person she chooses to care about. It's misplaced. It's misplaced love. It's towards someone that doesn't deserve it. Towards someone that treats her like shit. But she, of course, she's not aware of all of this. To her, she's doing the right thing. You know? Damn, not here. Hey, enjoy your dinner, T1. Okay, so Rosara, I think that's the core of the mindset I need to be in when writing Rosara. Well, to her, she knows she's doing the right thing. She stands up for her ringleader. I think she calls him master. Yeah, I think she's the only one that calls him master. She's the only one that shows that level of respect for him openly. Man, this is gonna be a hard POV to write in, just in terms of like, just on an emotional level. This character is like someone this codependent, this overly attached to someone who isn't even good for her. This is gonna be hard. Alright, I gotta type one word at least within a couple minutes. When his eyes met Rosara's, her heart jolted. See, that shows her fear of him. She cares about him, but she still fears him a lot. That's a really... This is gonna be a tough character to write. This is gonna be not just on an emotional level either, just like trying to figure out how do you write someone with this kind of mindset? I guess like Stockholm syndrome type kind of thing. Sorry, I know I should be writing, but I keep seeing words to guess. Her heart jolted. I want to say... I was gonna say, I want to say he scares her without saying it, but that's kind of what her heart jolted already did. I mean, the guy's screaming, pacing around, of course she's... You know... So what should you be thinking about in this moment? They just found out Fora escaped from her cage. Somehow, I don't even know how. I'll probably explain it later. Ooh, I'm in that mode right now where I'm just stuck. I'm stuck, man. Alright. Usually what helps is looking at like Twitter for a few seconds, realizing I hate it, and then coming back to writing. That helps sometimes. Also, I'm curious if I got any like notifications or anything. I did. Pepper? Pepper? The game's not even on right now. Wait. Restart? Hey, there we go. You Tony Stark? Pepper, where's Jarvis? Pull my devil trigger. Oh, I'm stuck, man. I always do. This is always hard when I've gotten so immersed into writing one character's POV, and then I have to switch to another one. It takes me forever to get going in the new POV. It takes so long. When I opened X the other day, first news I got was the smiling friends. Yep, I heard about that. Well, hey, you know what? I'd rather it end off on a bang than be dragged through the mud because of corporate shit. So they're making. I think they're making the right decision by ending it now, before shit gets bad with Warner Brothers and Netflix and Paramount. I think they're making the right call. I'm sure they'll work on more projects. Tracking broke. Oh, my devil trigger. I look like I'm trying to, like, riz someone up, but I'm just like... Ugh! Oh, there we go. Brought back to life. Yeah, my mouth tracking never breaks. But the face tracking does. I just gotta keep talking this out, I guess, until I figure it out. I mean, I already know what mindset I need to be writing Rosara in. Essentially just Stockholm Syndrome. But she's not really aware of that. She just, to her, it's normal. But it's very much not. Just trying to think, specifically in the context of this scene. I've never written in I've only ever really written in, like, Greta's POV, so this is challenging. At least for this story. Hmm. Man, what's up with my tracking today? It's just like majorly fucking up. I need... I guess I'm just struggling to know... I'm struggling to know what to make Rosara's voice sound like in the prose. And what exactly she's thinking about in the moment. When his eyes met Rosara's, her heart jolted. He's screaming about the ferry being stolen. He's looking around at everybody like, hey, anybody know what happened? Okay, here's the question. Does Rosara know what happened? I don't think she did. I think I want her to be just as surprised as everyone else. When Simon and Fire Eater reveal, like, hey, yeah, we saw the ferry escape last night, but we didn't say anything. But I want to give a little bit of, like, her thoughts before that. I want the readers to get to know Rosa just a little bit. Tiny bit. Before we move on to that part. Maybe like even if it's just like a paragraph, like half a paragraph. I just need something here to fill in this space.
The Time Traveler.
The Time Traveler. Oh, future me that's finally figured this out, help me. Impart your wisdom onto me. What does this scene look like? Well, you see, past Zealot, Rosara is thinking about how much it pains her to see... Wait, this actually might be going somewhere. How much it pains her to see ringleader freaking out because she knows the deeper reasons for why he freaks out. Maybe I could do something with that. I don't want to reveal too early what that is, though, in the story. Like, why she... Also, what's up with words? What do you mean, sinking? Hang on, let's restart this. A bit to make food, but I'm back. Hey, welcome back. Din Din time. The Adventures of Din Din. Okay. Let me type this out before just so I can have it for reference. Rosara is pained... I'm just writing this as a note. This isn't the prose. Rosara is pained to see ringleader in distress because it scares her and because she knows what he's afraid of. I'm not gonna say that in the prose, but that's generally what I want to get across in a more subtle way, I guess. Y'all can type fart, by the way. Fact, fart, raft, craft. Facet? No, I don't know. Wait, is that a word? Is that how that's spelled? Nope. I think it's like, is it E instead of an I? No Super Mario sex line! Woohoo! Okie dokie, get ready to move your penis. Okay, Rosara's pained to see Ringleader in distress, but it scares her because it scares her and because she knows what he's afraid of. Alright, how do we say that in a more natural, subversive way? I don't know if subversive is the right word, but... Let me think. It's not digging in your butt, twin. Yeah, I think I might have to back out of that group collab that I'm planning for Friday, I'm not gonna lie. Well, I'm not too certain on it. Maybe when the time comes closer to that, I'll be ready. But as of this moment, I want to slow down on group collabs, because I've been doing way too many of those. And those, that's a lot, to do so many of those in a row. I did like 2 just in this week. So, I think I'm gonna slow down on collabs in general. I think having more valuable time with chat, learning to be more comfortable with a slow chat, is gonna be important. All right, Rosara, what are you thinking right now? Your master is flipping out. Aura got away. You didn't find out until this morning, the same time he did. You're scared because he's intimidating when he's angry like this. and because you know why he acts like this, and you're scared for him. And to you, he's a very important person to protect, because so much of your identity is like in him. Like your attachment to him. Like you don't have much else in this world. It's also just it's just overstimulating to be in too many group collabs in the same week. Sorry, I'm just trying to like I'm trying to talk to my fictional character right now so I can get in her head. Excuse the schizo. I'm having a hard time writing this scene, man. Like, I wrote the scene, but it doesn't have Rosara's thoughts in it at all. It's just so bland. It's so POV-less. No POVs? No POVs? Why the tracking? No POVs? You do clot? Onto? I'm sleepy today. I'm really sleepy today. Probably part of why it's hard to focus on writing. Did a lot of good brainstorming today, though. I set myself in a good trajectory, if nothing else. Just having a hard time coming up with how to flesh out this scene. Maybe I should move on. Maybe I should move on to a later part. Flesh this scene out later with Rosara's POV, but for now, let's get some momentum going. Okay, so after this scene, we go back to Greta and the girls. So, what needs to happen in this scene? Let me write this down for myself as notes. Greta is about to head into town to get supplies for the girls, so for their travels. Now, either she meets the circus people. Nah, I think she should. The circus people need to knock on the door, because then if she meets the circus people like outside of her home, then we miss out on the whole like something shatters upstairs, and then he's like, bring the kids, you know. I don't want to lose that if I can help it. I don't really see any benefit to having the scene take place outside, other than seeming maybe slightly less coincidental, but meh. It's not unrealistic for people to knock on your door when you're on the way out. That happens. Okay, so basically, I just need to write out a little scene. Last time we saw them... What was the last time we saw the girls doing? The girls. Even if Greta did do something so cruel, what if the oh yeah, okay, so... Here, I'll put this on screen while I read it. Let's see. Okay, we'll start here. You can't stay here. You can't stay anywhere near here. It's not like I'm in the middle of nowhere. That town is full of people. You're lucky you came into my house, because most people would have turned you both into the Royal Navy without batting an eye. It's like Australian, I don't know what this voice is. If anyone discovers your existence, you'll be dead. I'm just gonna say that instead of wind up dead. I like that more. You'll be dead. And besides, I don't have the health to raise a child, let alone a magical one. Let's do little ellipses there. Well, Forrest said, we can just stay in your home while you bring food back. We should be able to manage. Besides, from what I've been told, you don't exactly throw parties here. No, 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 Greta said. That isn't possible. I'm selling my home. I can't work like I used to. So I need to give up a lot of things. I'm moving into town. That is terrible structuring, but I'll edit that later. Greta wondered about selling them off to the Navy. The reward she would be granted for doing her civic duty. With government money, she could afford to see more doctors to figure out what was wrong with her. She could keep her dream home, maybe even retire. Then what about me? Madalena asked with a quivering painted lip. So Madalena's face, the way it works, even if this was done in live action, I imagine like her facial features are painted on, right? So they move like an animated 2D image. And I described that in the prose earlier on. You're not going to let them kill us, are you? Even if Greta did do something so cruel, what if the Navy would only punish her for harboring the creatures? She sighed. So originally it cut off here because that's when the ringleader knocked on the door, but now we're having that happen later. She sighed. Maybe I could just end the scene there. Greta did something so cruel, what if the Navy would only punish her for harboring the creatures? I don't know. There's not enough resolution there, I don't think. I need to figure out how this scene ends, so that way I know where the next scene starts. So I'm gonna figure that out now. Or try to. Surely I won't get stuck again. Peon. I think before next stream, I'm going to try to figure out how to get face tracking done with my phone, because Vinian kind of tanks my CPU, I'm not going to lie. That's why it keeps freezing. I need to figure out how to do it on my phone. Hopefully it works on Android. You're not going to let them kill us, are you? No. Of course not. But I can't protect you from them either. Not for long. Okay, there's a conversation that Fora and Greta have later that I'm gonna bring to this scene. I'm gonna copy it and paste it to here, because I think it'll work better here anyway. The one where she says, you know what? Let's have Greta crash here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah, let's copy this part. Let's copy this part and let's put it up here. Okay. No, of course not, but I can't protect you from them either. Not for long. Greta, what would you say? She caught a dizzy spell? Does that make sense? I'll just say that for now. I can edit it later. It gets the intention across. She caught a dizzy spell. Madalena came to her side. Are you okay? I'm fine, Greta said weakly. Thirsty. I'll get you some water, Madalena said. No, it's fine, Greta tried to say, but Madalena already ran to the kitchen. Fora smiled. Sweet girl, that one. She came closer to Greta and sat on the top of one of the dining chairs. Look, I understand we can't stay with you. It's not what she would have wanted, but I understand. But you can't just throw us out in the cold with nothing on our backs and no food. Greta laid down in the bed against a pillow. Oh, that's because the scene was different. We'll just have her say it here. Greta leaned on the table. I'll head to town later, get you supplies. Thank you, Fora said. You know, for a human, you're not that bad. I wrote it as you're not bad, but I keep saying you're not that bad out loud. You're in vertigo. Maybe I should just type it as we're not that bad. Greta shut her eyes and shook her head. I'm no one you should be counting on. Okay, that's a good place for that scene to end. Then we do the circus scene. We figure out how to write that in Rosara's POV. One day. when the inspiration comes to me on that one. Beaclefunny.com. And then after that scene, we head back to... Okay, so yeah, Greta is getting ready to head to town for supplies, and that's when the circus people knock on the door. Oh, I need to figure out how to make dialogue here that pads it out a little bit for pacing, but also doesn't feel pointless. Okay, what would they be talking about? So let's say by this point, it's been maybe... Ooh, I'll do this. Greta came out of the bedroom. Okay. Now I'm wondering, whose POV should this be in? I'm thinking either Greta or Fora. I don't know if I want to write this in... I don't know if I want to write a Madalena POV yet. I think Fora would make more sense here. I don't know why, but... Oh, I know why. Because later, when they get kidnapped... Then again, this scene doesn't have to take place in Fora's POV, but I'll try writing it in Fora's POV. Fuck it. Because when they get kidnapped later, I think it'd be interesting to have that from Fora's POV. Because when they get kidnapped, they hear Greta's voice at the front door, and Greta is gonna tell her in this scene, like, hey, don't answer the door for anyone unless it's me. But I have keys, so you don't even have to do that, basically. So later on, someone's at the door, and they hear Greta's voice, and Madalena goes to open it, and Fora takes a second, she's like, wait a minute. And then right as she notices, Madalena opens the door, and it's Rosara. Because I need to have Rosara use this ability more than once, because so far, in all my drafts of this story, that's the only scene where Rosara, like, copies people's voices. But also, it's like, how does she copy the voice of... Oh, wait. I was gonna say, how does she copy the voice of someone she's never heard before? But I can just have her there when Ringleader knocks on Greta's door. There you go, problem solved with that. Plot hole solved. We're ballin'. Okay. So let's focus on Fora's POV right now. Greta came out of the bedroom. I should write this in a way that makes it obvious right off the bat that it's Fora's POV. But how? How? You know what? Been writing for almost 3 hours. Maybe we do the rest of the stream with DK Bonanza. Maybe I should do that. I think that's what I want to do. Man, my model's really fucking up today. Damn. It's the most I've ever seen it freeze. Here, tell you what. I feel kind of feverish, so I'm gonna take a break. I guess I'll just leave words on screen. Yeah, I'll be right back, and then we'll play some Bonanza. Dude, it was Chrome. Having Chrome open was making my model lag so much. Holy shit. I'm gonna keep taking a break, but damn, I just wanted to share that. You know what, actually? I am extremely tired. I hate to do this. This is a result of still not being back on IV therapy. I think I might actually have to just end stream today. Like, I need to go ahead and end it. What the? Emily, your timing is insane. I was just saying I feel too sick to keep streaming. You ain't. I need to. I'm gonna pass on the love to somebody else. I was about to get into some Bonanza, but even with a small break, I can tell it wouldn't be enough in order to recover physically. But thank you so much for the raid. Yeah, I'm just physically burnt out. This last week of streams... One was a lot. But hey, you know what? I just got some productive writing done on stream. That was a huge dub. in many aspects. I think we're gonna read Twee. I haven't read Twee in forever. Yeah, I'll see you guys back on Tuesday. If you would like to go ahead and follow. I usually play a lot of Sonic games. Today, the first time ever, I tried writing on stream, and that was actually very productive. That was actually a lot of fun. I didn't put a lot of words down, but I did do a lot of brainstorming, trying to work around some like plot holes and stuff, and some POV stuff. So that was actually really good for me. It was a really good change of pace because I had like a mental breakdown last night. Oh wait, let me hide words. Don't play this right now. It's going away. Don't get too attached. Fucking... Yeah, anyway, I'll be back on Tuesday. I don't know what I'm gonna play. I think I'm gonna slow down on Crossworlds because I think I'm getting burnt out on streaming it. I still want to practice it for the tournament, but I already got into all that earlier. If you want to check the VOD, beginning of the VOD. But yeah, I'm gonna read Twee. I'm sorry, I'm having to end as soon as you get here. Wait, raid 3. That's not what I meant to type. Raid 2. Yeah, copy that one if you're subbed. Or actually, wait, no, damn, Sketch, you're way ahead of the curve there. All right. Yeah, I'm so sorry I have to end right when you raid. I was gonna play some Bonanza for a while, but I'm just like, you know what? I need to rest. I've been feeling like this all day. But hey, you know what? I got to stream it all. I did some writing. Let's be happy with that. And I also tried something new, and I feel better about myself than I was earlier. So, you know what? We take those. Yes, health does matter more than anything, for sure. I hope your stream was good. I guess let's pass on the love to Twee. Playing some Mega Man 11, I think. So, yeah, I'll see y'all on stream again on Tuesday. Bye.
He's half dead at 12 and smiling? Yeah, pretty much. Zealot!